Hey guys, it's Omer from MMOs.com, and I'm doing another quick weekly news recap of all major MMO news and announcements for the week ending June 13th, 2016. This is episode number 47 of the recap, and the first bit of news this week comes from NCSoft regarding Master x Master. It looks like Master x Master is finally scheduled their first alpha test here in the West, and it'll start on June 24th and run until June 27th. The alpha will be open to a large number of players, as NCSoft they'll be sending out thousands of keys. If you're interested in getting into the alpha, make sure to sign up for the official Master x Master newsletter, as well as keeping an eye on our giveaway section, because we're going to try getting keys for that. This should be the first time Master x Master is playable in the West, and we'll see how it does. Expect the first look as soon as possible. Next up, the Heroes of Maple update for MapleStory is set to launch on June 22nd. It's also known as the Reborn update, and will be the first of 3 monthly updates coming to MapleStory over the summer. The first update introduces the first act of the Heroes of Maple storyline, as well as extreme makeovers for the Aran and Evan classes. Other classes will also have various skills tweaked and balanced as well. And the July update coming next month will add an entirely new class to the game, as well as Act 2 and 3, while the August update will introduce an epic boss, as well as the final Act 4 of the storyline. And despite its age, MapleStory is still going fairly strong, and still gets a lot of regular updates and love from Nexon. Up next, Epic Games' MOBA, Paragon, is set to go free to play on August 16th. Which is also when the game is going from early access to open beta. The game did cost money in early access, but they always said on launch/open beta they will be free to play, and it looks like that time is coming. August 16th is the date. Before the game goes free to play, though, they'll be adding yet another new hero to the roster called Chimera, which will be launching on June 21st. Move right along. Remember that Game of Thrones MMO that was announced from Big Point a while ago? Apparently it's still in development, so it looks like they did say they're still working on it. It was announced back in I think 2012, and since then nothing really happened. I think they said they were aiming for a 2013 release date, so that clearly didn't happen. But Big Point actually came out this week and said in a tweet that they're still working on the game, and that we should be hearing more about the Game of Thrones MMO relatively soon. Personally, I'm not too excited because Big Point typically makes these browser-based games. Graphically it looks okay, but we'll see. Up next, we have a new game to talk about this week. This time it's called Kinetik. It looks like a buy-to-play shooter that's on Kickstarter right now. It's being developed by a company called Hero Machine, which is made up of former members of Sony Online Entertainment, now known as Daybreak Games. And it looks like they're aiming for a release on Steam Early Access sometime early next year. Gameplay-wise, it's supposed to be a cooperative squad-based shooter with some RPG elements, so it'll be somewhat like The Division, that you have character progression. But yeah, it's buy-to-play, it's on Kickstarter early next year. Kinetik. Next up, X Legend's upcoming game, Twin Saga, which will be published by Area Games, released a new class introduction trailer. It's a gorgeous anime-inspired game that actually promised a really cool class system. They promise freely swappable classes, mobile personal housing, and a large immersive world. Personally, I think the class system sounds interesting, but I'll let you know when I actually play the game myself. The video in the background is showing all the classes in the game, so it's not really much update, just that they released a new class trailer, and I'm actually excited to play the game, so that's why I'm talking about it right now. Now, what's funny about this video in the background is that it's sped up right now, but the music in the background is this really epic orchestra music, and it really doesn't fit the anime graphics, but the trailer itself looks cool otherwise. Next up, some interesting industry data from SuperData Research saying 6 of the top 10 grossing MMOs are free-to-play games. So you can see from what the graphic in the background, League of Legends, Crossfire, DFO, World of Tanks, Dota 2, and MapleStory make the list. I personally find it still fascinating that a game like Dungeon Fighter Online out-earns World of Warcraft by quite a big margin. And I know we talked about free-to-play versus buy-to-play in the last podcast, so I feel like this is an excellent data point. Free-to-play is still kicking ass. For those curious about Blade & Soul on the bottom of that list, Blade & Soul is actually subscription-based in Korea. It's pay-to-play there and free-to-play in the West. So it's a bit odd, but it's working for it. Up next, WildStar officially launches on Steam, and perhaps the deaths of WildStar has been greatly exaggerated, as since launching on Steam, the game is getting about 2,000 to 5,000 users concurrent just on Steam alone, which is pretty impressive. And with the launch of the game on Steam, there are some Steam exclusive bundles for sale from $20 all the way up to $100. Time will tell whether this changes the course for WildStar or not, but I am glad to see the game doing well on Steam. It's always sad to see a game die, so seeing 5,000 players peak is still really good. But we'll see if they can maintain those numbers. Best of luck, WildStar. We'll check up on you again. And moving right along, DarkEden relaunches through Game & Game. I'm not sure who asked for this, but DarkEden is back as of June 8th, 2016. The game's been available in Korea since 1997, making it one of the oldest graphical MMORPGs. It was available through JoyMax for a period, but they shut it down back in 2011. But for those still eager to play DarkEden, it's back. I'm not sure who asked for it, but you got it. I can't imagine it'll do that well, but I'll do a first look video for it relatively soon. Up next, we have a new gameplay trailer from Conan Exiles. The game will be launching on September 13th into early access, but now we can actually see some gameplay. Before, we had the CGI cutscene that didn't show anything, but now we can see what the game's actually about. And it actually looks pretty cool. Honestly, I'm a fan of a game like Rust, so this actually looks right up my alley. It looks like a realistic Rust-style game where you can build a lot of stuff, And you can build a lot more than just a simple house. You build like cities and stuff, and it looks really epic. I'm eager to try it out. Moving right along, we have an update for SkyForge called Okunita, which launched this last week. It introduces the game's toughest dungeon, which takes place on the spaceship of the Gorgonide Akonita. Also with the update, it looks like My.com also released 2 Discord packs, which cost anywhere from $16 to $40. But yeah, I've said this before, I think My.com has been on the ball with releasing regularly scheduled updates for SkyForge. They've been on the ball with that. Next up, Cryptic Studios and Perfect World Entertainment announced that Star Trek Online's latest expansion, Agents of Yesterday, will be launching on July 6th. The expansion adds a whole bunch of new characters from the original series, as well as allowing players to own and fly their own infamous Enterprise Constitution-class ship. So if you're familiar with Star Trek, it's basically the main ship in almost every series, except maybe DS9. And remember, the expansion launches on July 6th, so check it out. The next and last bit of news this week is from HeroWarz, and the news is that they're launching their second closed beta testing on June 21st. So yes, they are doing a second round of testing. It'll be on the 21st up to the 24th. So I was kind of hoping they went from closed beta to open beta, but now we have that second round of beta testing. And of course, after every closed beta, there will be wipes. This round of closed beta testing will be open to anyone, so if you want to play, you just register on their website and you are good to go. It's available to anyone in North America, New Zealand, Australia, as well as most countries in Europe. Anyway guys, that's it for MMO news for the week ending July 13th, 2016. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the podcast. Later guys.